Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna
Tira Vanachari Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Jajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Jajana Ranjana
Veera Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Veera Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe
Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe
Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe
Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra
Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra
Jaya Gauranika 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 Jaya Gauranika
Jaya Gauranika Jaya Gauranika Jaya Gauranika Jaya Gauranika
Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jai Jai Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hare Krishna, Mataji's, Prabhuji's. Shama Mataji, can you please confirm if my connection is all good? Because I got a message saying that my internet connection is unstable.
Yeah, I mean, just now I think your voice dropped, but can you maybe increase the volume at your end, Mataji? It's still a bit soft.
Okay, I'll try to increase. Is it more better now? Or
Yeah, it's okay, Mataji. Unless other devotees, but I think it's fine. You can go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah, I'm really sorry if there's some issue. I will share my screen. We'll do our invocation pranama first. So, devotees, please let me know if you can see the screen.
Yeah, all good, Mataji. Dandut pranam.
Thank you. So we'll start our invocation pranamas. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridhi antosthe bhadrani vidhunoti suratsatam nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamascha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpata Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radha Govinda Goswaminiti Namine Namaste Prabhupadi Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Gram Janmastarine. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jadananda Badhironmat Mukakriti Ran Jadand Badhironmata Mukakriti Atanmatihi Lakshita Pathi Balanam Prasantarchir Ivanalaha Jadantha Badhironmatta Muka Kritir Atanmali Matihi Lakshita Pathi Balanam Prasantarchir Ivanalaha Jadantha Badhironmatta Muka Kriti Ratanamatihi Lakshita Pathi Balanam Prashantarchir Ivanalaha. Would any devotee like to recite this verse?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandut pranam.
Pranam, Prabhuji.
Jadananda Badhirunmukta Mukha Kriti Ratanmati Lakshita Pathi Balanam Prashanta Archir Ivanada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am trying.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Jaranda Badironmatta Mukhakritirathanmatihi Lakshitaha Pathi Balanam Prashantarchir Ivanalaha.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Jadandha Bodhiranmata Mukakriti Ratanmati Lokshitaha Pathi Balanam Prashantar Chiribanala. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am trying as well. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Jadandha bodhiranmatta mukha kirti ratanmatihi lakshitaha patih balanam prashantarchir ivanalaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else would like to try? Okay, we'll go to the synonyms and translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Can I have a volunteer devotee here who would like to read the synonyms and translation both?
Can
Hare
try, Mataji.
Thank you. Please go ahead, Poshak Mahaprabhuji. If I'm not wrong, it was him. Is anyone trying to read the synonyms in translation?
Mataji, I'll try. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jada, foolish. Andha, blind. Bandhira, deaf. Utmata, mad. Mukha, dumb. Akriti, appearance. Atat, not like that. Mati, his intelligence. Lakshita, he was seen. Pati, on the road. Balanam, but the less intelligent. Prasanta, calm. Archi, with flame. Eva, like Anala, fire. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Utkari appeared to be to the less intelligent person on the road to be foolish, blind, dumb, deaf, and mad. Although actually he was not so. He remained like a fire covered with ashes without blazing flames. Thank you, Mataji.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, I can read that.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In order to avoid contradiction, botheration, and unfavorable situations created by materialistic person, a great saintly person like Jad Bharat or Utkala remained silent. The less intelligent consider such saintly persons to be mad, deaf, or dumb. Factually, an advanced devotee avoids speaking with persons who are not in devotional life. But to those who are in devotional life, he speaks in friendship, and he speaks to the innocent for their enlightenment. For all practical purposes, the whole world is full of non-devotees, and so one kind of very advanced devotee is called Bhajanandi. Those who are ghostly Anandi, however, preach to increase the number of devotees, but such preachers also avoid opposing elements who are unfavorably disposed towards spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Hare Krishna, Prabhujis and Matajis. Welcome to today's morning class on Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from chapter 13, and which is the name of the chapter is Descendants of Dhruv Maharaj. Let's quickly look at the family tree. His Grace Mahaprabhu and Prabhuji yesterday did a little bit touched on that. So we are talking about the family tree of Swambhu Manu here. And then he had two sons, Priyavrat and Uttanpad. And then we are talking about Uttanpad's family tree here. Priyavrats would be discussed later, but Uttanpad. So Uttanpad has two sons, had two sons, Dhruv Maharaj and Uttama. And Uttama, we know he left his body during the forest fire, but during the attack with the Gandharvas. But Dhruv Maharaj went on and became the king. And from Dhruv Maharaj, now we are talking about his family, which are about his kids. Utkal and Vatsaraha would be in the subsequent verses. But we were talking about Utkala. So far we have understood from various speakers, till verse 10, from 1 to 9, basically the importance of hearing, how important it is to submissively hear by the example of Maitre Muni, Vidurji, and the right questions they have been asking. And then recently we have been talking about, yesterday and day before, it was more on, the verses were more on the characteristics of pure devotee, okay, or the qualities of pure devotee. When Bhagavatam is describing the qualities of Utkal, Dhruv Maharaj's son. So this is continuation. This verse is continuation from describing about the characteristics of Utkal. But the genius of Srila Prabhupada, the purport which he has written, it explains, a very must quality or a very steady quality which devotees should have if they want to progress in material, in spiritual life, or we can say a must quality which devotees should not have if they want to study in devotional life, right? So before we discuss that, let's look at the verse from the perspective of what it's saying and what we can learn from that. So, so far the purport, can anyone tell me what it is majorly focusing on by reading just from the purport which we have read so far?
An advanced devotee.
Yes.
What is the quality of an advanced devotee?
Quality of an advanced devotee, correct. Anything else? Anyone else wants to say? What particular quality of advanced devotee is talked about here?
Is it Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna.
Is it association of devotees with whom and with whom not to?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. So it is, how to avoid opposing elements or materialistic people, right? Devotees should avoid, a saintly person, Srila Prabhupada says, that he avoids the contradiction, botheration, and any kind of unfavorable situations which are created by materialistic people. And then he goes on in the last line saying that, even preachers should avoid the opposing elements.
Mm.
So we will talk about, from devotees' point of view, for us, what can we learn? What do we understand by avoiding materialistic persons or things around us? And then Srila Prabhupada also touched briefly on two types of devotees, Bhajananandi and Goshtiyanandi. So we'll quickly have a look at that as well later, once we have talked about materialistic quality or materialistic persons and what to avoid around that. Okay. So now let's first see what is considered as material association or materialistic persons. What do you mean by that? What is our understanding of materialistic association, materialistic people? And is it really possible to avoid material association in Kali Yuga? This whole technology-filled world where everyone is looking for good interpersonal skills, good communication, and so is it really possible to avoid materialistic people where communication is a key and interpersonal skills when we go out? So doubts will always be there, because if just by coming close to materialistic or material object, if that is considered as associating, then we all are doing that. We all are doing it, and there is no way that we can escape that association, right? As long as we have this material body, we will be in touch with material association, whether it's people, whether it's thing, one or the other way, grahasthas, even sannyasis, everyone around us, because this is material world, right? So the question we should think about is, and I'm sure that Bhakti Shastri students would have an answer to it, but the others should think that what is, will we have, what does it mean to have enough association of materialistic people, or we cannot avoid it, right? So that is clear, because around us we have a lot of materialistic things like this computer, this laptop, this the shawl I'm wearing, the mouse, everything around me, even the utensils I used and all. This is not Golok, right, where everything is Jeev. This is material world. So everything is material here. And if I am supposed to progress in any kind of my life for my my survival, I have to get in touch with I'm so sorry, devotees, please excuse me. So I have to get in touch with material things, and sometimes material people as well. How can you avoid going to work? Even if you are not working from office, you still have to talk to them very often. At least a big chunk of your time goes, at least 5 days a week goes with materialistic people. So how to understand that, how much association is enough, or how much association, is dangerous, how to understand that part. So we'll talk about that today, okay? And the beauty of our scriptures is all the answers are there. We have all the answers. It is just the matter of reading them, studying them, okay? So Srila Rupa Goswami has given this verse. Thank you, Prabhuji. So Srila Rupa Goswami has given this verse from a Nectar of Instruction. There are 6 types of dealings between devotees. He says, loving dealings between devotees, he mentions. Does anyone remember the verse?
Dadati pratigranati
Guhyam
Akhyati prachayati bhunte bhajayate chaiva shadvidhim priti lakshanam.
Jai. So the translation is offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad, and offering prasad. These are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. One devotee and another, okay? Now you'd be thinking, Are Mataji is talking about materialistic people, and the verse she's showing about the dealings between devotee. Okay, so if you want to understand what you're not supposed to do, right? First, we need to understand what we are supposed to do. So that's the framework. Srila Rupa Goswami has given the framework that you have to deal with devotees in a loving manner within these 6 things. Okay. Now, what we need to understand is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his purport on this verse, or in his commentary, and which is also in our, there's a very extensive commentary on all the verses by Srila Prabhupada in Nectar of Instruction. It explains further, right, what would be considered as association, what would be considered as not an association at all. See, when I go to office and I say, oh, I'm associating with materialistic people, is it really true? Is that even called as association? I'll give you an example, and Srila Prabhupada has given this example in Bhagavad Gita earlier chapters, where he's talking about a soldier on duty, right? When a soldier on duty goes and kills someone out of duty when he's fighting for his country, he's given a medal. But when the same soldier, using the same rifle, kills his neighbor because his neighbor made him angry, he goes to jail. He doesn't get a medal, right? He's punished for this act. With this simple example, we can understand ourselves as soldier. If we are utilizing anything of our life on duty and communicating, associating, dealing with materialistic people on duty and with duty, with the feeling of duty, not with the feeling of how the word in Nectar of Instruction says, Priti Lakshanam, right? Not out of love, but out of duty. If we associate with devotees, with non-devotees, that is not considered as association at all. That is not considered as Sangha. Finished. But if you are going to your, your job is say of 7 hours, but you want to excel in it because you love your job, right? You just want to, you can workaholics, people say. You will just 8 hours job. Oh, I'll give 15 hours. I'll make sure that, my company progresses and all, because I identify myself with the company. There's so much love there. That is considered as association, because the duty part has gone, and what has replaced the reason? Our consciousness is replaced with love and not with duty. Am I making sense?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. So until and unless we are associating with non-devotees, okay, and we are dealing with non-devotees, that dealing will only be considered as asat sangha only when we are dealing them out of love, dealing with them out of love. When we are dealing them out of duty, then it is considered as Sangha. It is considered as Satsanga, because you are trying to preach, you are trying to, out of the duty of your, either you have to survive or all those things. The soldier is killing, right? The soldier is killing in the battlefield. What bigger offense can it be than taking someone's life? But that is not considered as an offense, because he's doing as per his duty to protect his nation, right? So when acts are performed out of love, only then it's called association. Now, whether you perform those acts with devotees or non-devotees, that is up to us. It's very beautiful and very important thing to remember, that our society is called International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Whenever you are stuck with, I don't know what I should do, I don't know whether this is right, whether this is wrong, just stick back to the basics where Srila Prabhupada has given consciousness as the main term. Everything depends on the consciousness, right? If you are having a consciousness that you are serving your friend out of love, because, oh, he's so sick right now, I just can't, and in his sickness, he has asked me to make some chicken soup for him. I know that, I shouldn't be making it, I shouldn't be eating it and all those things. But, if he has asked me for it, I can make it for him, and I'll just give it to him. I'll not even do anything. And then I'll clean the whole kitchen and all those things, or even forget this is chicken soup. Even, sometimes out of love, that's why it's a saying in material world that love is blind, right? It disturbs our vision completely, especially in material world. The real love is not. The real love is, it empowers us. And the real love, our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj, says that the real love, the object of real love, the owner of real love, and the only reciprocator of real love is Lord Krishna, no one else. So unless that object is right, where you're showing your loving affection, then everything is association, good association. And when you change that object from Lord to any material thing, that becomes asatsanga. Like the computer, what I'm using right now, I'm using it for my office purposes, for my duty, which I have to do, right? And people would say that, while performing your work, you're not thinking about Krishna. And you are not, right? You better not, because otherwise your performance will definitely, at work, it would go down, because you have to think about the work you are doing. To be honest, whatever we say, it is not good to multitask. Okay, so we have to think about it. We have to think about it, that when we are going to work, we are not thinking about Krishna all the time. Then how come it would be considered as a good association, or, not a bad association? Anyone has comments, answers for it? No? Yes,
What's
yes.
the question?
Okay, so the question is that if we are, I'm going to work for 8 hours and I'm saying that I'm doing it out of duty, so it's not considered as a satsanga, but then I'm not thinking about Krishna.
But sorry, you go ahead, Prabhu.
No, Mataji, please say.
But you will be using that money for Krishna.
Correct. Yes, you are
Like,
using that for Krishna. Yes, Tushta Chaitanya Prabhuji.
like Prabhupada used to use the dictaphone. Dictaphone is a
Correct.
material thing, but used to use that for writing is all scriptures. So that is the consciousness is that it is used for the purpose of Krishna's activities.
Correct.
So it doesn't have any material effect on it.
On it, yes. And in chapter 3, Bhagwan says here, right, that no one can be free of karma and everyone has to perform their duty, right? Everyone is supposed to perform their duty. And this is our duty. This is our job. So do not get confused by these, different mind games when mind throw these questions at you. It is our duty, as per our scriptures, to perform whatever work we have been assigned to our psychophysical nature. Whatever work we are doing outside, we are supposed to perform it nicely to the best of our ability. That's written in our scriptures.
Yes.
Okay, so dadati prati granati. Okay, let's look at these two. How can these be considered? When will these be considered as asat sangha? Offering gifts and giving gifts in charity. When would these be considered as asat sangha?
Mataji, one example might be when we socialize in office parties outside of work hours.
Yes, out of love. Yes. Oh, yes, correct. That is one. That will be considered as asat sangha. And then let's look at quickly to what is the next thing? Guhya makhyati prachati, guhya makhyati prachati, right? To inquire and to reveal your mind in confidence. There's this example of our Guru Maharaj quotes in his Ramayana lecture about mantra and Kaikai. He said that, Kaikai out of love for Mantra. Mantra was, she was not a good character lady. She was of a questionable character, Guru Maharaj said. But she got so attached to Mantra, Queen Kaikai, because of, Mantra was trying to please her. And that's her job as a maidservant, right? But she took it too personal. Kaikai, and she got so attached to Mantra that she revealed her mind that Dashrath had given him, King Dashrath had given her two boons. And what happened? Mantra utilized that information in a wrong context altogether, and which made Queen Kaikai from a very loving mother. She was loving Lord Ram more than Mother Kaushalya. But she became completely selfish just with that one thing of revealing her mind to.
Shakuni Mama.
Sorry?
Another example.
Who? Sorry, Prabhuji?
Shakuni Mama.
Correct. Our scriptures are filled with, all these examples. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in the purport, and it is in our Nectar of Instruction book, where he says, Srila Prabhupada writes that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given the analogy of snake, if I'm not wrong, that the snake and milk, if you'll feed milk to the snake, it will kind of increase its power. So you are actually giving your, confidentiality to a snake, and it will increase its power and it will bite you only when the right time for that comes for him, right? So, Guhya Makhyati Prachati, and then what is the last two?
Bhunte bhujayate shubha.
Very important thing. How can we forget that, right?
Bhunte bhujayate.
Yes, if you are accepting, prasadam invites. No, not prasadam, but food invites from non-devotees just on the basis of your friendship. Then it is definitely considered as a satsanga. I remember when we started back in our Krishna conscious journey, at that time, senior devotees, whoever used to, especially the one thing I remember very clearly, that whenever His Grace Surat Krishna Prabhuji used to come to our place, and due to Krishna's mercy, we developed quite good relationship with him. So we used to call him for prasad, and we were not initiated by then. But he used to always say, yes, I'll come, but there has to be something. We have to do some kirtan or, some sort of, I'll come for prasadam. We'll do some kirtan or something, and my wife will offer, and don't taste, and then we'll eat together. So that is considered as, what is that considered as? Asat Sangha? Because we were not initiated, and we have not even, completely left onion garlic at that time.
Sangha, Mataji.
It is Sangha. It is the good association, because he is, and it's for us and for, literally for new people, it becomes very good association, because you are actually doing some sort of kirtan, or even just 5-10 minutes of discussion, not even kirtan, but discussion about the Lord. But your aim should not just be, oh, that Mataji makes amazing aloo parantha and I need to just go and have someday. Then even if you're having from a devotee, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that it becomes a satsanga, because the love you have is for that material thing, not for prasad. Prasad means you can have anything, right? Whatever that Mataji is making, you'll have it. But no, I want aloo parantha only. Then that is becoming a satsanga. So devotees, we have to be very careful. That's what Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, that a saintly person is he avoids all these things. So if we want to be, that's our aim. So we have to be very careful. Okay. And why we need to be careful? Because if we associate too much with material things, a very famous verse from Bhagavad Gita, Dhyayate Vishayan Pumsa. While contemplating the object of senses, what happens? Slowly and steadily, we'll develop the attachment to those material things, right? And that's why it's said that we should very well distinguish between what is asatsanga and what is satsanga, and act based on that. See, acts out of love, out of duty, and we should care for materialistic people, but not out of love, out of duty only. Right? And then there is this famous verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. Would anyone like to read this verse? And the translation too, please.
Asat Sangha Tyaga Vaishnava Achar Stri Sangi Eka Asadu Krishna Bhaktara. A Vaishnav should always avoid the association of ordinary people. Common people are very much materially attached, especially to women. Vaishnav should also avoid the company of those who are not devotees of Lord Krishna.
Jai. See, our the most munificent avatar, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has said that. Asat Sangha Tyaga E Vaishnavachar, right? And yesterday I was hearing the class of His Grace Madhavu Prabhuji, and he did touch about some of the devotees. The reason of the fall down was a little bit of attachment to material desires. Can we quickly have some examples? It should be fresh by now.
King Bharat, Mataji, associated with the deer.
Jar Bharat, correct? Yeah. Anyone else you can think of?
Mataji,
Jamil also. Mataji.
Jamil.
Yes, Ajamil. Ajamil also. Anyone heard about Shobhari Muni as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because of some, sensual, he got some sensual agitation caused by what? Caused by fish.
The fish.
Yeah, I mean, it is so strange, right? He was such a great yogi. He was doing his tapasya under Yamuna river for so long, and doesn't just, so we never know when and where material things can come and attack us.
Vishwamitra Muni.
Vishwamitra Muni.
Vishwamitra Muni.
There is a reason why Bhagwan says Mama Maya Duratyaya. We have to always remember that. This is very, very, very dangerous place. Very dangerous place, right? So, and there's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyone remembers Kala Krishna Das? Do you know the story about Kala Krishna Das? He was personal servitor. He was associating with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during his South India visit, and he was personally serving him. and he got, allured by Bhattahari ladies and the gypsy ladies, Banjara ladies in South Karnataka. Yeah. And
Kerala, I think.
Kerala. Correct. Thank you, Prabhuji. So he got, he got allured, and Mahaprabhu himself went and pulled him back from that association of those Bhattahari ladies. And I won't go into details on it, but Mahaprabhu then relieved him of his service after 1 year. When he returned back to Puri, he relieved Kala Krishna Das from his service. That, I don't want you as to be my personal servitor at all. Just because he associated with non-devotees. He got allured by non-devotees.
The example of Bilvamangal Thakur also.
Bilvamangal Thakur, correct. See, all these examples, and especially, especially the example of Ajamil and Kala Krishna Das, there's one similarity, that they were saved as well. They were saved by, and how? They were saved by devotees. Ajamil, due to the few sages came to his house and told his, for a night only, for a very short time, they came to his house, and they were staying. They stayed for a night, just a night, for a short time, and the devotee suggested the wife of Ajamil to keep the name of the baby as Narayan, and she agreed, and that saved him. Same with Kala Krishna Das. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected him, he was taken under the shelter of Nityananda Mahaprabhu. And Nityananda Mahaprabhu made sure that he goes to, he instructed him that though you are not directly serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but there are ways that you can serve Mahaprabhu. You go to Bengal and glorify all the time, describe in detail all the time in South India, because no one knows. So you go and glorify it there. And he did that very well. And because of that, we have the documented pastimes in Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Chaitanya Charitamrita about the South India trip, because Nityananda Prabhu asked Kala Krishna Das to go and spread the glories of and the pastimes, what happened in South India. So see, the point here is we need to understand the difference between asatsanga, satsanga, and because Mama Maya Duratyaya, if something happens, always stay in association with devotees. They will save you somehow or the other. Do not just completely reject devotees. You can reject Lord, but don't reject devotees. Our Guru Maharaj said that in one lecture, that if you want, you can reject Lord, but don't reject devotees. Because if you reject devotees, there's no hope for you then. So remember that though, if for some reason we forget satsanga, and we get into, the power of asatsanga more, for some reason, be in association with devotees. Tell them as Guhya Markyati Prachati, let them know, reveal in confidence your mind. You should have one devotee. I was listening to one senior devotee of a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, and she mentioned Her Grace Nitayat Sevni Mataji that you should have at least one devotee, a senior devotee, who you should be sharing everything what your mind is telling you, which you have a question on. You should be sharing each and every detail. You should have at least one devotee friend like that. Okay. And especially that friend, you should also know that that friend needs to be a bit senior than you, because otherwise, level 2, trying to achieve level 11, no way you can progress, right?
True.
So yes, that is the first lesson, the first topic about materialistic, that remember the classification of asatsanga and satsanga. It should be love should be the classification which you would which would easily determine whether your act is asat or sat, right? And then if by any reason you are entangled into a satsanga, make sure that you should have, when you are in satsanga, at that time only make sure that you have one such advanced devotee or senior devotee who you are sharing everything with. And that person will pull you out from this asatsanga. Okay.
Mm.
So now I think we'll just now quickly touch upon the two kind of devotees Srila Prabhupada was mentioning, and why we need to touch upon it as well. There's no, I'm not saying Bhajananandi is better or Goshtianandi is better, but we'll be talking about from the point of two things. One, what our acharyas and scripture says. Two, what is recommended in Kali Yuga as well, right? Now, as I mentioned in my in the introduction to this chapter, that since beginning we have of this chapter, we have been talking about hearing and the importance of hearing and submissively hearing, and all the good qualities, how we need to develop. And also, I think last chapter by the end there was a very detailed description on. I really loved that class by His Grace Poshak Mahaprabhu Ji. He has quoted all the references of different scriptures, right, about saying what is good hearing, what's a good speaker hearing, and all those things. So if we are talking about Bhajananandi only, then how, if it's good to hear and all, but there should be someone who's speaking, right, for us to hear? Is that question valid?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
If we want to hear submissively or something, there has to be someone speaking to me. Otherwise, what I will hear? I don't have anything to hear, right? So we'll talk about this verse, which would determine between in Kali Yuga what we should be doing. This is from Bhagavad Gita, a very favorite verse of His Grace Padmasambhav Prabhuji, who used to always in the beginning, when he used to encourage us for preaching, he used to tell this. Ya idam paramam guhyam mat bhakteshvabhi dhyashyati bhakti mai param kritva mam evashyasti asamsayaha. Can someone please read the translation by Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
For one, carry on, Mataji.
For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me.
Right. This is Bhagwan speaking at the end of the chapter. This is Mahaprabhu's instruction to us. Would someone like to read the verse?
Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh, amar agyane guru, hai tare ei dash.
This is the instruction by Mahaprabhu to the Brahmana who said that, I want to leave, I'm struggling with this material wave, and I just want to leave and take renunciation. And Mahaprabhu gave this instruction. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. We saw what Lord Krishna said. We saw what Mahaprabhu says. There's another one as well. Jivan nistarite Prabhu Brahmila Desha Deshe Apane Aswadi Bhakti Karila Prakashe. To deliver all fallen souls, the Lord traveled from country to country. He personally tasted the transcendental pleasure of devotional service, and what he did, he simultaneously spread the cult of devotion everywhere. Personally tasted and simultaneously spread. What does that show? Bhajananandi and Goshtianandi, isn't it?
Yes.
Together. And that's what Mahaprabhu has done. And this is what our founder Acharya says. Would anyone like to read?
So only,
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
okay. So only the devotees, Krishna consults devotees, he can deliver them. He goes from town to town, village to village, house to house, to bring this message of Krishna and deliver him. Prahlad Maharaj is promising, Naitam Vihaya Kripanam Vimuksha eko. I do not wish to go alone. Give me some strength so that I can deliver some of them. It is not possible to deliver all of them, but that is a very important engagement of Vaishnavas. So, if you want very quickly recognition by Krishna, go on preaching Krishna consciousness. Even it is imperfectly done, but because you are sincere in your japa, whatever capacity you have got, if you preach, then Krishna will be very much pleased. I have seen practically. So this is the mission of high class Vaishnavas, how to preach Krishna consciousness among the suffering humanity. Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Now I'll ask, what in Kali Yuga we all should be as per our acharyas, our Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna? What should be following?
Both.
Correct. Both. Don't just, yes, see how here Srila Prabhupada is saying, even if it's perfectly done, but because you are sincere in your japa. So that is bhajanan. You have to make sure that you are very sincere in your own practice. And then whatever capacity you have got, you need to preach. That's what Srila Prabhupada has advised. That's what our scripture says. All we have to do is follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? And there's this another verse which reminds us of the duty, what we all have. Bharata bhumite haila manushya janma jar janma sarthaka kari kara paropakar. This is our responsibility. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatvarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. Right? This was the mission of Lord. This was the mission of our acharyas. This was the mission of Srila Prabhupada. And that's what we have to follow. Right? Clear on the Bhajananandi and Goshtianandi?
Yes,
And you all know it very well. That's why I didn't spoke much. We just need to read what Srila Prabhupada has said, just to reiterate our mind. Sometimes, we can have all those lovely, difficult mind games our mind loves to throw at us. So just a quick recap, right? We talked about how it is difficult to avoid proximity with material things or material people. And then we talked about how to discriminate our acts between association and bad association, good association and bad association. And that's why you see many devotees say, we went for Sangha, because association has to be good only, as per Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's. Any act which is done out of love, ideally, they should be Sangha. And they should be only with the object of love should be Lord Shri Krishna. Okay, and if it's done out of duty for material things or material persons, then it's still considered as Sangha. Okay. So we saw the love was a discriminating factor between our acts, how that would be the factor which will decide, right? Srila Rupa Goswami, our acharyas, have created a Lakshman Rekha for us. The Lakshman Rekha is the object of love should always be Krishna. Whenever we try to cross that Lakshman Rekha, we make ourselves very readily available to all the, vulnerable to the Rakshasas, ego, lust, pride, all the six, anger, greed. We make ourselves available to those and to the material things, and we fall down in the material pool. And then we also saw how, if for some reason, if we do get into these things, there is only one and one rescue for us, not the Lord, but the devotees. So please, please share your mind. You should have one great friend who you share everything with, at least one. If you have more, you're very, very fortunate. But if not, at least one we should have, and that should be an advanced devotee too. We also saw, about the importance of being Bhajananandi and Goshtianandi, both by the verses from Bhagavad Gita, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, what Srila Prabhupada says. So in the month of Kartik, we all have to be focusing on being Bhajananandi and Goshtianandi both. Increase our devotional service, be very sincere in our devotional service. And because we are sincere in our devotional service, Srila Prabhupada says, and then when we preach, even if it's imperfectly done, Krishna will be pleased. Our object is not, as per Srila Prabhupada, our motive is not to make so many devotees or, but our motive is to please Krishna. And Krishna will be pleased if we are sincerely doing our sadhana and sincerely trying to preach others as well at the same time. Okay, it was very interesting. I've just added this slide today. I was reading, see how Srila Prabhupada's quote for today says, simply we have to desire to please him and not desire anything for ourselves. Then we become simply instruments for his will. This is the important essence of Krishna consciousness. Letter to Atraya Rishi, October 20, 1973. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yeah.
Hare
That's
Krishna.
that's why Prabhupada always mentioned that word. You don't need to be a scholar in Krishna consciousness.
Correct.
Intention should be very, very clear. That's what it is.
True, true. Yeah. Any comments or any questions? Not questions, comments or add-ons, if anyone has, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Oh, very nice class. Yes, so much, in detail mentioned about the, you clarified the points. The association is very, very important. It refreshes us so that what we are doing, whether it is in the line of action is correct, or we are on the point of, sharp edge. Either side is very danger. So
Yes.
not to be judgmental. So just follow the instruction and you will be all fine. Because sometimes we become judgmental and then we cannot do the duty which are supposed to be. That's why Prabhupada wants us not to be a scholar. You just go on. Your motive should be always Krishna-centered, and then everything will be fine.
Correct,
Right?
correct.
Don't look for the loopholes. Look for the how to join that loopholes and cover it up.
Cover the way.
Yes. Because there are so many holes, like a policeman. If he wants to give you a fine, there are hundreds and hundreds of points to be noticed. Right? Yeah. So not to find out the faults, but try to rectify the faults. And that will please the Lord. That's what Srila Prabhupada advises us. And the the comment you showed us, that is exactly what is required. So Bhajananandi and Goshtianandi, if you mix them up and go for Krishna conscious movement, everything will be fine. Krishna will be happy through our great leader, Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Jai, jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful points you added here. Thank you.
If anybody has any other point to add or submission or any questions, please make.
Krishna Mataji, thank you for a very illuminating class on this course. I think Bhakti Thakur says that who's a non-devotee? He said, those who are not subordinate to the Lords are called non-devotees.
Correct, correct, correct.
So there are two types, Jnanis and Karmis, because they have selfish motive. So we should try and avoid them. The other one in association, we covered quite well, is the association of non-devotees, but association of women is also very important, according to Bhakti Thakur. On people who are attached to women or other of the sex should be avoided at all costs. So these are two points I think I remember from the reading Bhakti Thakur's verse on this Satsanga Tyaga.
Correct. No, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for adding that. Yes, who we need to avoid, who is considered as non-devotee, who are not favorable, who are not conducive to Krishna consciousness, Jnanis and Karmis, basically.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have one very small question. And can I ask it?
Yes, yes, sure, Prabhuji. I'll try my best to answer.
Just as you told at one place that you may leave the Lord but not the devotees. Can you a bit clarify that one point? I just wanted to know what you mean exactly by that.
Oh, okay. So, so the context about that is, due to some reason, people have misconception or there's some kind of misunderstanding between the methods of worship of the Lord, and sometimes it could be either different sampradayas getting confused with each other and all, and they are like, oh my God, this whole thing, the worship of Lord Krishna, is so difficult. It's easy to please Lord Shiva. I'll just leave the Lord, this particular worship, this particular sangha of or learning of this sampradaya, Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya, or any other bona fide sampradaya. I'll just leave that and I'll go to demigods or any other place, any other Babajis or whatever it is, in material world. That, for that reason, you can leave the Lord, but at least try to be in association with devotees. They'll bring back you to the Lord. That's what I meant to say. How GPS, sometimes there's always detour. If there's work in progress, they put detours, right? So the GPS for us many times can be devotees who will make us, the gurus, sadhu, shastras, they will take us towards the Lord, even if we take a wrong turn. That's what I actually meant by, even if, if you are in your life, if you have taken a wrong turn where you have become very upset with some happenings in your life, and that has made you leave the Lord, the worship of the Lord or belief in Lord is shattered, you should always stay in touch with devotees. Does that make sense, Prabhuji?
Okay, thank you, Mahaprabhu. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. We were also talking from the context of Ajamil, and where, he left the worship due to the fall down. And that was an accidental association which he got from the devotees. But we as conscious, and so many books are available to us by Srila Prabhupada, so many scriptures are available. We should take a conscious decision to always stay with association of devotees.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I add,
Yes,
give an example of this? In the great Acharya, Ramanujacharya, and he had a cousin brother, Govinda. They were very intimate associates. But some or other, Govinda fell to worship Lord Shiva, and he left the worship of Govinda.
Yeah.
So, but he was attached to Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya kept in touch with him, and eventually he gave up worship of Lord Shiva as all in all, and he came back to the shelter of Ramanujacharya. So we can see sometimes the devotees may discard the Lord or give him up, but because of the association of the devotees, they bring them back to the service of the Lord. So this is very well illustrated in the pastime of Ramanujacharya.
Jai, thank you, Prabhuji. Very apt example for this question. Thank you.
Mataji, can I just make a not an addition, but can I clarify my understanding?
Yes.
Can this also be understood in this context that sometimes we have devotees who might think that they can approach, or people in general, they may think that they can approach Krishna directly, and Krishna would basically the philosophy of being the servant of the servant, like Krishna would not look at anyone approaching him directly. We have to follow the path of going through his servants.
Yes, definitely, Mataji. You have definitely got a deeper meaning to that. That shows your attitude of serving Vaishnavas. Yes. Vitrasu's wonderful prayers. Aham hareta padaika moolam dasanudaso bhavitasmi punya. So that should be our goal. Never leave the devotees association. They will take us to the Lord. Thank you, Mataji, for adding that.
Thank you.
Anybody else has any question, queries, or should we end here? doesn't seem to be here. So Mataji will end here. Thank you very much for coming this morning. You guys had a meeting class. Our great Sita Mataji ki jai, Shri Prabhupada
Thank you.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Bhagavatam, Hari.
Jai.
Vancha Kalpaduruvescha,
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Vaishnavan ki jai.
Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.